Welcome to the OCIA Book Club. My name is Rosie Hernandez, Director of Formation and Evangelization. I'm reading and breaking down each part of the newly translated Order of Christian Initiation of Adults, reviewing the content and the important elements. This session is on Mystagogy, which often is one of the least understood but the shorter of all of this process. And so it's interesting to see exactly what the rite says or the order says and what the misconceptions are. So let's jump right in. Mystagogy is in numbers 244 through 251. That's where you can find it in the order, but let's break it down. So number 244 starts right off in telling us what the purpose of this phase is, or this stage of the process. And it states the community and the neophytes move to understand the Paschal mystery more deeply and live by it by meditating on the gospel, participating through the Eucharist, and acts of charity. So right off the bat, we know exactly what we should be doing. First of all, that it's not only for the neophytes, it is the community and the neophytes. And so therefore, again, the community has to have a role in this period in some way or another. And those implications are going to look different in every parish. But the whole purpose of this time of Mystagogy from Easter Sunday through Pentecost, traditionally, is to understand the Paschal mystery, which we've reviewed and relived throughout the Triduum, and then continue to live through the Easter season and the celebrations of the resurrection. And so really understanding what that means, not just theologically, although that's vastly important, but also how we live it every day. What part does the Paschal mystery play in our everyday life? And so this is the question for both the community and the neophytes throughout this time of Easter. And how do we go about doing that? How do we go about figuring that out? Well, it lists 3 ways right off the bat. Number 1, meditating on the gospel, which is something we should be doing anyway, right, throughout the year. But really, we meditate on the gospels of the Easter season to see then how we are living them out. Second, by participating in the Eucharist, in the Eucharistic celebration, as well as in the communion of the community, of the gathering. And then third, through acts of charity, which often gets kind of tagged on the end and we forget, but it's our actions that really show how we live Paschal mystery, not our words. And so it's making sure we combine the 3. 245 says, through all the experience in the sacraments, the neophytes and the community can better understand our faith, the church, and the world. And so everything that we witnessed at the Easter Vigil is actually meant for that, for us to see, to experience in a new way, not only the resurrection, but remember what we start the whole Easter Vigil with, being outside at the fire, praying over the candle, which is going to be our symbol throughout the rest of the year of the light of Christ, and then coming into a dark church, filling it with light, and hearing the story of our salvation history before we even get to the gospel of the resurrection. And so all of that ties into understanding our faith more deeply, understanding what our church is based on more deeply in those early scriptures, and finally seeing those connections throughout the world. And so everything that we experience in the sacraments is meant to do that, to push us toward that understanding. 246 talks about enabling neophytes to form a closer relationship with the faithful. Hopefully, God willing, throughout the catechumenate, we've helped them form relationship with Christ. We've helped them form their spiritual relationship with God. And now we need to focus on how, when we're not meeting weekly or however often you meet, when we're not meeting together, how are they integrated into the community? How are they actually part of the community? Because if they get to Mystagogy and they still don't feel comfortable going to Mass because they're not sitting with the group and they don't know anyone, I hate to say it this way, but we've kind of failed in our mission, because part of our mission is immersing them into the community. And so that's what 246 is telling us, that it helps them to now form a closer relationship with the people that hopefully they've met along the journey. And a quote from 246 says, "The greatest care should be taken that they receive a full and joyful inclusion into the community." And how we do that, again, is going to look different in every parish. Some parishes have donuts and coffee or something after every Mass. Do we include the neophytes there? Have we included the elect there? But now, especially including them as neophytes. Maybe there is a big event during Easter season or at Pentecost that they can become involved in so that they can get to know other people or things that they can attend or whatever. However, we can best make them a part of the community. That is our job. 247 reminds us that the principal place for them to meet other members of the community are the masses for the neophytes, the masses during Easter. And so do we take care to, say at the end of the Mass, hey, neophytes, will you stand up so that people, okay, everybody can see who they are? These are our neophytes, let's welcome them to the church. And then, go forth and let the people greet them after Mass. Or maybe they wear their white robes to Mass every Sunday all through this Mystagogy period so that people immediately can identify them. Maybe you once again go to different Masses every Sunday. You still meet as a group at Mass, but let's say this Sunday we're going to go to the 9:30, and next Sunday we're going to go to the 11, and then the following Sunday we're going to go to the 7 p.m. so that other people in the community see them. Again, just suggestions, but we find ways in our community that we make sure that at the principal celebration, at those Masses, that they are able to meet with the gathered community, get to know the gathered community, and find their place. And then remembering that in the liturgy, especially this year that I'm recording this is year A, especially during year A, the readings really lend themselves, especially the Gospels, lend themselves to helping our neophytes listen and understand how to live their faith going forward. In 248, it tells us that there's several ways that we can involve them or that they can be have a special place in the Mass. First of all, they, with their sponsors, hopefully their parish sponsors at least, if not their godparents, have a special place in Mass. Maybe you reserve the 2 rows for them and they all sit together, and so that they know where they're sitting and that everybody else knows this is where our neophytes are, and so they can go up and greet them before or after Mass. They can be mentioned in the homily. Again, they can be recognized in some way, not as a way of, let's applaud them or welcome them, because we've already welcomed them into the church through their baptism, but as a way of recognition. Also, a prayer of the faithful, one of the universal prayers, petition should be for the neophytes of our parish and around the world. Okay, so every week we should include them. 249 reminds us of the celebration of Pentecost, and that we can make Pentecost be a celebration of our neophytes or a welcoming of our neophytes before they're kind of set off into the world on their own, that we're going to stop our periods of meeting, but they're remembering that they're still a part of the community. 250 gives us a great suggestion because in the national statutes, number 13, norm 13 tells us that the neophytes may benefit in meeting occasionally throughout the year, but 250 reminds us that at their anniversary, we should do something. Gather them again together, or send them a special email, hey, we remember you, or a card, happy anniversary of your baptism, something. And that reminds us that these neophytes really are our responsibility for a full year. So until their first anniversary of their baptism, we should still either provide a monthly, hey, once a month, every third Sunday of the month from now on, I will be at the 11:30 Mass, sitting in our usual spot. If you come to that Mass, you'll find me and we can have coffee afterwards or something. So it doesn't have to be a meeting, doesn't have to be a class, but hey, let's get together and just catch up. And sure, not all of them are going to come, but for those who do want to come and to continue to connect, that gives an opportunity without you having to prepare anything extra. Just saying, hey, I'm going to be at this Mass. If you come, let's plan to have coffee afterwards. So something along those lines. 251 reminds us that we should also try to find a way that they have an opportunity to meet with the bishop. And that can come again in many forms. There's many ways to do this. But just saying, hey, if the bishop's going to be visiting for a special Mass, maybe he's going to just come celebrate a Sunday Mass. Your parish has invited him to just come celebrate a Sunday Mass. Maybe he has coffee with the neophytes after Mass, or maybe right before Mass, he has 10-15 minutes just to greet them in the sacristy, and then you take them out to Mass, and then you leave him to his preparation for the rest of the time, or whatever you can do. Wherever there's an opportunity for him to meet with the bishop, that would be a great thing for them as well. That is what the order states. Now, this doesn't give us a lot, Nowhere in this does it say we have to have a session every Sunday. Nowhere in here does it say it has to be an hour-long session every Wednesday or whatever. So this mystagogy can take whatever form it needs to take in order to accomplish the goal of integrating them into the community and helping them learn how they're going to live their Christian faith going forward once Pentecost goes and we're no longer in that solid connection. So you can be as creative as you like with this. Some parishes may only meet every other week. Some parishes may only meet on Sunday after Mass or before Mass. That's what my parish does. We meet before Mass and then we all go to Mass together. Some parishes will continue the week meeting. There's just all these various ways. Some people will, every session, invite parishioners to come in to give testimony on just their walk with Christ, their journey. There's just so many things you can do. So I invite you to sit with your team next time Mystagogy time comes around and really reflect, what can our parish offer in order to, again, hit what 244 tells us we need to do to reflect more deeply on the Paschal Mystery and to bring them into that community that we do it together with them. So good luck with your Mystagogy, and we'll see you next time.